I never started like this, by the way. For quite some time, I never liked the idea of being in a relationship that felt toxic. Growing up, I thought finding a girl with barely any issues was all that mattered. But I want to tell you what's wrong with that. It's fucking selfish. It's absolutely stupid. If I could go back in time and slap the living crap out of my teenage self, I genuinely would. The thing I would always do whenever a relationship got too toxic was to cut it, to bring an end to it. And it makes a lot of sense. What's the point of prolonging a relationship that hurts when it feels so much easier to just stop it? To not deal with this person's mess mixing in with my stress and my problems. Wouldn't it just be better to cut ties altogether? What if I told you my stance on that changed because of an anime? That would be crazy, right? Well, it just did. So you got two people in Welcome to the NHK who are Sato and Misaki. Basically, spoiler alert, Sato is a hikikomori, which is a person who doesn't go to a college or job and rarely goes outside. One day, this girl just pops out of nowhere and he's like, "Holy shit, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen." My brother just another me. So they hand him a flyer about hikikomoris and he thought this was personal. So he decided, hey, you know what? I'ma work at that manga cafe and finally put an end to this. Oh shit, she works here? Yep, and guess what he does? He panics, tries to act cool talking about motorcycles, and runs away. But he ends up dropping his resume, which Misaki brings back to him along with a letter to meet up at a certain place and time. So they go talk and she claims she's here to save him from his hikikomori ways. Of course, for Sato, that's just weird. A girl you barely met is talking about saving you. Like, this gotta be a trap, right? Yeah, no, Sato was kinda correct. Pretty much, Misaki was trying to find value in her existence from other people. Yeah, we're going existential in this bit. Her biological dad died when she was young, and then her mom went and married another man who ends up becoming an abusive stepfather, which drives her mom to commit server slide, or could have been an accident. And then the abuse ends up being directed to Misaki, and the piece of shit is saying horrendous things like it's her fault her biological dad or her mom died, and even after she was taken in by her uncle and aunt, things didn't improve by much. She thinks her relatives only started fighting after she entered their lives. That's why she resorted to what she did. Seeing someone in a worse predicament and mental space made her feel like, damn, if I can make this person's life matter, I have value as a human being. Please, don't think like this. At the end of the day, we humans love to put value on other people, which we shouldn't. You only do that when you're thinking about buying the next iPhone 69 or a plot of land. But yeah, this is where I feel like toxic relationships become the best thing I've ever seen in a while. That doesn't sound exactly good. Let me just reiterate that. What I'm trying to say is this. In fiction, I like to see these kinds of relationships that aren't abusive and not necessarily really bad where intervention needs to be done. Although at times you could say intervention was probably the best course of action because both Sato and Misaki literally attempted to commit cliff jump. So do whatever you must with that information. I just thought that these people were genuinely flawed and needed to be a lot more attentive or open to each other. But at the same time, you kinda see their relationship fluctuate. There'd be moments I wish it would last forever, and other times I would love to smack the absolute shit out of Sato. Misaki, on the other hand, yeah, she has her flaws and definitely her approach in life is not something to believe in, but you could understand why she became like this. Because of her environment, because of her upbringing. I really did think out of all of the people in the show that needed genuine affection and attention was Misaki. Cause, well, yeah, I could say the same thing for Hitomi. She low-key needed a wake-up call. This girl was Sato's vice. She was going on about how the bad shit happening in their lives was the cause of some conspiracy. Like, she blamed everything else. But she was so passive too. She let things happen, hoping it all turns out good in the end, which, you know, I'm glad it did, because her boyfriend too was an absolute workaholic. You know what, I feel like this should have been the toxic couple I covered, but he definitely needed a wake-up call, and even then, things didn't turn out great. At least, it seems like her married life was getting better. Hopefully none of that destructive shit spreading throughout their family. Husband probably likes to get pegged too. Whoa, chill. I think the end game I wanted to see between Sato and Misaki was that both of them acknowledged their faults, their mishaps, their problems and internal struggles. Cause Sato was more about how people perceived him, and Misaki was more how she perceives herself. His is about shame and judgment, while hers is about value and worth to a person. The best way I could describe their relationship is absolutely unstable. But in a way, both of them have saved each other's lives. Like, I'd rather both of them relied on each other than to think independently and then end up spiraling back again into their past selves. For a lot of people, yeah, that's unhealthy, but what I loved about their dynamic is the growth of it. It wasn't perfect, sure, but seeing them try and fail and then try again to make things better, to make life a little bit more happier for the both of them, was genuinely beautiful. Even the anime ending shows Sato saying he is fine how even if his friends are getting married or having kids, he doesn't need to try and catch up to them. He is fine with going in his pace. And the same goes for Misaki. She doesn't need to change instantly or think differently, but rather a gradual process of understanding and trust. But right now, they don't need to rush it. Maybe now Misaki still relies on a contract that says if one of them dies, the other has to. I know, sounds insane, but hey, if she says this is one way for both of them to live, then at least for now we can keep up with it, because things may not be the same anymore in the future. Even though their problems haven't exactly been solved, even after everything, a small different outlook in life will help, no matter how little. It doesn't hurt to try. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I'm Aaron. Have a blessed day, afternoon, evening, everybody. I'll see you on the next video. Sayonara.